You know, the one thing that I think people don't appreciate about doing what I do is that you have to be willing to make takes and then immediately be proven wrong. Yeah, I thought the Mongols could beat MOUZ. I thought it was going to be a close series regardless, but I thought maybe this time, maybe finally, the Mongols would be able to beat the allegations and finally break through, and of course they didn't. MOUZ still decisively won, especially towards the end of those games, and have made yet another grand finals, where they will be staring down the barrel of their arch nemesis, Vitality, who also persevered over a back and forth series against the Falcons, where neither team was really keen on the games being close. They felt like blowing each other out back and forth. Pause. So let's break it down and go ahead and get ready for the grand finals tomorrow. Before we do though, I need to once again take a second and talk about something important. As you guys may know, if you follow my content, a few days ago, we plugged something a little different, and it was a GoFundMe for my best friend TJ, who had set it up for his family members who were dealing with health complications relating to cancer. Unfortunately, I come back with some really sad news. TJ's uncle has unfortunately left us, surrounded by loving family members at the very end, and they are now just trying to look forward and do what they can in this trying time. The same GoFundMe is still available, and I hope once again we can reach out and help TJ and his family. The GoFundMe will be the top link in the description. If you have the ability to donate anything, it would be immensely helpful, but do not feel pressured to do so. If you can instead go over to Twitter and like and repost TJ's tweet about it, that alone is more than enough. And if you do interact with the post or the GoFundMe in any way, let TJ know that you guys are there for him and that you're coming from my community. He was just astounded by the support we did get the first time, so hopefully we can rally once again. Thank you guys so much. I feel so eternally grateful and blessed that I have a platform with which I can actually do something good for those that I care about. And TJ, you and your family are in our thoughts and prayers, man, and we hope you're doing good. On that somber note, let's go ahead and get on with the rest of the recap. Alright, I'm going to be up front here at the outset. I was not able to catch as much of these games live as I otherwise would normally be able to, because today is also my brother Justin's birthday. So we were over celebrating, streaming video games on my Twitch channel. We had fun. It was a great time. So I was only really checking in here and there and only really caught the end of the Vitality Falcon series in its entirety. As such, we're going to kind of be brief here and just kind of analyze the big moments from MOUZ and Mongolz, as well as Vitality and Falcons, and get ready for the grand finals tomorrow. Alright, thank you. Okay, so Mongolz. I feel like there are a lot of things that went good here, but just so much went wrong in classic Mongolz fashion that it puts you guys very far out of reach of being able to contend here. When we open up on Inferno, it's not ideal in any context to start off your semifinals going down 7-0 on the T side of Inferno. That's just unacceptable because it means you're not breaking into bomb sites. If you can get into the bomb sites on Inferno, you will win rounds just by inertia because saving is almost always correct for the CTs because the retakes suck. So you guys were getting boxed out at every turn. Even worse, we were stuck with Chokemaster Senzu once again disappearing in a big game. This T-half was awful. He went 3-9 with a 0.61 rating. Blitz was even worse, going 2-11 with a 0.4 rating. Mazzino, also terrible, 4-10, 0.53. The volatility of the firepower in this team remains its biggest issue, because when you look over at the side of MOUZ, we were getting to the point with this MOUZ team where they can absorb Xerxin having slow halves or slower overall games, because Spinks is amazing. Brolin will find a way to get his. Jimmy's one of the most reliable anchors in the world, and then Torji is currently playing one of his best events on LAN ever. Now, all of that is to say is that this match wasn't just a blowout from MOUZ. It was very one-sided in the first half, but on their CT side defense, Mongolz really did their best to manage a comeback here. They started by winning the pistol. They did lose the subsequent force buy, but on the third round, they won it right back and then flipped it into yet another streak of rounds, really trying to get this score down low. The problem is, in classic Mongolz fashion, they threw it at the very last moment. It's already a tie game. You have MOUZ on the back foot. You have their economy broken. All you have to do is, just like against Vitality, not lose to half-bot Ts. I have no earthly idea why, when you know that the economy is low for MOUZ, you're going to be so aggressive on Banana on a round like this, because you guys walk straight into an artillery strike from MOUZ. 4 grenades at the top of Banana, smite Techno and Blitz from the face of the earth, just eviscerate them like Thanos. And now you're on the back foot in a 3v5 within 2 seconds of the round. Like, what the fuck are we doing? Like, I love that the Mongols are an endlessly aggressive team. It's one of the funnest aspects about watching them as a casual viewer. But my god, do they seem to have just an inability to read the room and pick and choose the right moments to be aggressive. Because how does this keep happening? How do you guys choke these close game situations all the time? All you have to do is hunker down here and not throw this round, and you're on match point with 2 attempts to defend it from going to overtime. It's just in your favor. But look at the economy. Your economy's broken now. You've just conceded advantage after advantage after advantage, and MOUZ are too good to give them that much rope. Now, surely, as we go into Nuke, Mongols won't find a way to choke another advantage, right? Right? Ah, god damn it, this fucking team. Mongols, you come out the gate swinging on the CT side of Nuke. You win the first 6 of 7 rounds. Everything is going great. 9-10 once again looking fantastic. You put MOUZ in a box. You hold them to just 4 T side rounds. And then proceed to put up an absolute lemon on your own T side. Like, I understand, it's T side Nuke. It's not an easy side to navigate. But holy shit, this is not good enough. And even worse, your economy management was terrible. If you guys didn't know, there's this handy dandy little thing on HLTV where you can go into the match page and then look at the economy, and it will show you how many buy types happened in a match. Here's a timeline for this game. See up there's the first half. Let's go ahead and look at MOUZ here. Now if you look closely at MOUZ's graph on their T side, you'll notice that they have a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 full buy rounds, or close to full buy, at least AK armor on everybody else. Now let's look at the Mongols T side, and you might notice a problem here. So, you know, I'm not the most literate person, and I'm not really good at counting, but I see 1, 2, 3 gun rounds on the T side. How are you guys mixed buying, force buying, or saving on 9 out of 12 rounds in the half? Take a save at some point. Holy shit. Your tournament is on the line and you are force buying into infinity. Like, why? You add on 2 heartbreaking clutches with Jimmy on round 22 on the lower bomb site, and then 2 rounds later, Brolin up in Mustang defending the upper bomb site, and it's just like, dude, how many more times are we going to be convinced? At least, I'm talking to me now. How many more times am I going to be convinced by what is clearly a fleeting moment of playoff success from this team? I don't know. I'm just going to stop betting on them at this point. MOUZ, it was a really strong game. Torji continues to be lights out. He is the highest rated player at this tournament. And listen, will they be able to beat Vitality tomorrow? I have no idea. We'll say that speculation towards the end. But I hope Torji continues to show out and he ends this tournament as the best rated player, because ZywOo is not really close. In this event, by the way, before any of you ZywOo fans get mad at me about that, in this event, he's not. Speaking of, let's go ahead and talk about Falcons versus Vitality, because this is probably the weirdest of the matchups we've seen between these two teams so far. Obviously, we're used to seeing them in best of 5 combat, the highest stakes possible, grand finals. So yeah, it's a little bit weird to run into them in a more mundane best of 3 setting, which I think should give more of an advantage to Falcons, as they can better work around map pool restrictions to maybe try and find an edge against Vitality. You're not going to have to worry about your depth 4 or 5 map pools deep here. You can pick your strongest maps up front and see if you can just go blow for blow with Vitality to the bitter end. Unfortunately, the going blow for blow part kind of requires you to swing first, and on Dust 2, they got knocked the fuck out. Vitality right away made a statement after losing the pistol round with an insane clutch on the second round force, including a Mezzy 1v1 and defuse. Vitality could essentially just springboard that into controlling the momentum for the rest of the half, more or less. You combine that with m0NESY having an unusually slow game, being bottom of the scoreboard for Falcons, and it's just so much going against them being able to compete with Vitality in this kind of matchup. Dust 2 is probably both of these teams' best maps, but if m0NESY's not going to show up, then what the hell were they supposed to do? Nico was fantastic, as good as you could expect. Kicksan had some highlight moments. Magisk was Magisk, but really it was that different. ZywOo being essentially given free reign of the ARM control on the map is just too overwhelming to deal with, leading to a Vitality 13-7 lead. And at this point, I'm just kind of figuring this is going to be over. It's going to be a wipe in the second map. Vitality are going to remain undefeated and not be bothered here. And we're just going to move on to the grand finals. Easy video. I'll get to bed at a reasonable time. However, I did not legislate for Vitality just turning up and being awful on train, because everything that essentially went wrong for Falcons didn't go wrong again on the second map. m0NESY roared back to life, now the best player in the server. They got timely impact from their supporting pieces. Magisk wasn't god awful. Nico got the job done. He wasn't great, but he wasn't bad either. And then you look over at the other side, Rop's having a terrible time. ZywOo going 12-16. If you have a MOUZ as your top frag, unless you are beating the team like 13-3, MOUZ top fragging, not good. If it sounds like I'm being brief about these first two games, you are correct. This is what happens when you record late into the night and you don't want to talk about blowout games, especially when the final map is much more interesting. It's called pacing a fucking video. I know what my metrics look like. I know you guys like me yapping, but there's definitely a limit on that. Let's go ahead and talk about Inferno. Now, when Inferno started, I thought that this was going to be cooked when Astralis just seemed to dominate on the CT side. The first 6 straight rounds felt like Falcons didn't have a snowball's chance in hell of battling back into this game. But they did. They had some gritty side takes, battling for these rounds tooth and nail. They managed to claw back this 6-0 deficit into a 6-6 half. Like, that is remarkable. Yes, part of it is buoyed by the fact that if you can just manage to break the economy one time, the CTs just don't have a whole lot of time to recover before the half is over. But a lot of these were legit full buy versus full buy wins, getting the bomb down, taking the sites, forcing saves out of Vitality, good entries from Nico at Banana. This was a very, very strong recovery when frankly most people would not have been shocked to see Falcons just fade and wither out in this kind of deficit. The problem is momentum, because we head into the second half. Falcons need the pistol round here. They cannot allow Vitality to get comfortable. Instead, they fail to convert it, allowing Vitality to run away with the early game. They won 4 straight rounds yet again before Falcons could somehow claw onto the board with a miracle force buy. Deagles from m0NESY and Tessas getting insane clutch shots on the A site, the most unlikeliest of rounds, and you could see how unlikely it is from the fact that it was but a fleeting moment as Vitality battled back in the very next round to once again take the momentum. And that at this point means we are staring down the barrel of match point. It's 12-7. Can Falcons do anything to make this a ghost of a chance at overtime? The short answer is yes. Some very fun, very gritty site holds, managing to keep Vitality, managing to keep ZywOo specifically from insanely high impact moments and forcing them into positions where the crossfires were simply too much to overcome. One of the best rounds to highlight throughout this, as much as we all love to criticize him, Magisk had an insane clutch when it looked like Falcons were going to throw the game away. It's a 12-10 scoreline. You're looking at a desperation force buy from Vitality, a Deagle, P250s, Tech 9s, just enough utility to try and get into the B side here. All you have to do is not give the pistols room to play. Unfortunately, Vitality love to manufacture advantages out of nowhere. Apex in the middle of the pack with the P250 gets a double kill as they enter into the B site. This is it. The game is over. It's a 4v3 retake, the hardest bomb site in the world. What the hell are Falcons going to do? Especially when Flamesy gets a pick down CT, putting Magisk and Tessas into a 2v4 from hell. They're going through church. They're getting out to the bomb site. The time is running low. Tessas manages to get one before going down. 3 Vitality players remain, all going through CT. Can Magisk come up with gold? Yes, he can. A perfect double kill. Manages to get on the bomb. The remaining player, ZywOo, trying to stop the defuse. Not enough time. ZywOo gave up the sound cue so the Magisk knew where he was. In the middle of the defuse, he pops off, shoots ZywOo, and with no time left on the clock, manages to just sneak in the defuse and keep the game alive. I immediately turned over to Twitter and dropped this banger saying that Magisk, you can in fact sleep on the bed. You're off the couch tonight. Guess what, buddy? You get 1 more week of payroll before Kiosuke gets here. Good job. Now, can we get this to overtime, guys? And you know, of course not. So let's talk about the mechanics of this, right? Astralis, Jesus Christ, what a Freudian slip. Vitality are trying to go through brackets, get to Arch and pinch into A. You have 3 Vitality players going arch side. You or Nico. You see the 3 Vitality players. You retreat into the smokes, managing to get 1 kill as you do so. Now let's pause for a second. Let's consider the positioning. You have Magisk tucked on the A side up on the box. You have m0NESY by Moto, and you have Nico back inside the archway. m0NESY is in kind of an inconvenient position, right? Because right now, there is probably going to be a split player coming from apartments or truck side that Magisk can't possibly cover from his tucked position. So m0NESY is exposed to 2 angles. He can't really get back to the site because of how close the players are, because they've pushed past Arch towards Library past Nico. So m0NESY has really no choice but to take a swing here and go for a kill, which he does. But if you're Nico, what should you do? The worst thing you should do, in my opinion, is push back through this arch smoke, because after m0NESY gets the pick, it is the most expected outcome. Nico does throw a flash, but it's a very obvious flash. It sails through the smoke with enough time for someone to dodge it, and Nico gets sat on his ass before he could possibly see the enemy who shot him. Nico should have waited. I really think he should have. He should have been playing for the retake, or maybe waiting for something else to happen from Magisk on the A side, but the immediate push after m0NESY dies leaves him in the most exposed position possible. So I really do think Nico made a mistake here at the worst possible time, and it cost them the game. Vitality are in the grand finals once again. They're probably going to beat MOUZ tomorrow. The undefeated streak continues. Alright guys, let's go ahead and get our predictions and get the hell out of here because I am tired. Vitality are going to win. I think MOUZ will push this. I think this will be another 5-map finals. I really do think that that's what we're seeing. I think, just to kind of hedge my bets, Vitality can definitely win in 4, maybe 3 if MOUZ truly choke. I think MOUZ do play well into Vitality, so I'm expecting 5. I'm expecting a banger. We'll be here tomorrow to cover it. Thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, 10K by the end of the year, all that good stuff. Please, once again, check the description, look at the GoFundMe, go support on Twitter, help my buddy TJ out, and most of all, I hope you guys are doing well as well. Make sure you connect with your family. You never know what could happen in this crazy life we live, and I really do hope that we all just take a second and wish TJ well in the difficult times they're facing. Thank you to my channel members, Justin, Jesse, Furley, Milan Berta, Bubblesj, Dr. Cocktor, Patatas Kaftesi, PTR, B1 Games, Cody Foxworthy, JesseTiv, Vegt, I'm Flashbang, Snowmy White, Rowdy, Vergil'sPlasticChair, and Pro 12. If you want to join, remember to use the link in the description down below for my spend the game in the video, so there's custom on the community Discord. To follow me on Twitch.tv, LionHeartZ. See you guys next time in the next video. Peace.